We have the 2023 Club World Cup that awaits us this upcoming week with 7 teams duking it out for the best team in the world title. You have Al-Ittihad representing Saudi Arabia as the host. You have Auckland City, the Oceania Giants that have been partaking in this tournament for a long time now. Al-Ahly, Egyptian side, winners of the CAF Champions League. Mexican side, Leon. Japanese team, Urawa Red Diamonds, winner of the AFC Champions League. Brazilian side, Fluminense, winners of the Copa Libertadores. And finally, European royalty and Manchester City, winners of the UEFA Champions League. The first matchup will be between Al-Ittihad and Auckland City. Al-Ittihad, who coming into this tournament were the winners of the Saudi Pro League just last year and were selected as a team to represent Saudi Arabia as host. They currently sit in 4th place in the Saudi Pro League, and as we already mentioned, they finished in first in their AFC Champions League group stage to go on to the knockout stages. The players here and the names are really, really interesting and are what make this team so fascinating to keep an eye on throughout this whole tournament, because they have a very good tactician and Marcelo Gallardo leading this team. And then
just joined them too.
And then big names such as Igor Coronado, who has 5 goals and 5 assists already in the Saudi Pro League. Karim Benzema, 9 goals, 4 assists. N'Golo Kante, if he's healthy, will be a massive part of their midfield. Fabinho, Amdallah, who has 7 goals and 2 assists in the Saudi Pro League as well. Brazilian Luis Felipe, Mohamed Sharahili. This team has some names to him, bro. And it's a team that I do think could pose a threat if they can find a way to really amplify the talent that they have to maximize it in a way that actually showcases itself on the pitch, bro. Because the names are there, but is the chemistry fully there to guide them towards a deep FIFA Club World Cup run?
Yeah, and you add in the idea that Al-Ittihad actually have pretty good Saudi Arabian talent alongside those foreigners. If they can really work together, Al-Ittihad is a championship winning side, as they proved last year. They're very, very good. It's just a matter of getting them to tick. I want to highlight a couple of Saudi Arabian players because they do have some pretty good talent. Al-Amri's alongside Hamdallah, very good forward type of player. In the midfield, you have Al-Ghamdi. And then they have these 2 really young players. They're left back, Zakaria Al-Hawsawi. I think he's like 22 years old or something like that. And he very forward going fullback. And then on the right wing, they have this 19-year-old Saudi Arabian player, Al-Sahafi. And he's got a lot of pace. His talent's a little raw, but he's got a lot to give. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for him to, play against some really good teams here, but also try to get the cohesion of Al-Ittihad, to try to improve the cohesion of Al-Ittihad. Because, yeah, I think their biggest problem is getting them to really play together, because they haven't been that good this season.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're going to face off against a team that has been here time and time again. A team full of experience. A team that is full of champions. This is Auckland City we're talking about, winners of the OFC Champions League region. The Real Madrid of the Oceania region, as they've won this title time and time again. Currently sitting in 2nd place in the National League Championship and on a 3-game losing streak, which I think is notable for where they sit right now.
No, they just lost the final.
My God.
Yeah, they just lost the final 2-0. To get here, they actually had to go to extra time against Suva FC, Fijian side. So, not as dominant as in the past.
Emiliano Tade is back in his favorite tournament once again. And they've got some names. For example, Angus Kilcawley, born in Hastings, New Zealand. A furious man, 27 years old, in the peak prime time of his life, scoring 7 goals in 9 games this season. Holland-like ratio there. Guiding this Auckland City team who's looking to just achieve something. Maybe pushing the team to extra time. Maybe just getting 1 goal in this tournament that can be notable in comparison to their past performances. Because just last year, for example, they were here once again, but they lost to Al-Ahly 3-0 in a game that Al-Ahly took over pretty quickly. So for me, the biggest storyline for Auckland City is how competitive can they be? Truly, because just the idea, the threat they pose of pushing a team farther than what they expect, pushing a team to really grind out a win, I think is a win in of itself. And if we see that, then I'll be a happy man.
That's the beauty of Auckland City is I can guarantee one thing about the Club World Cup, and it's that Auckland City are going to show up. I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that they're going to be as competitive as they can be, and whoever they face in that opening match is not going to have it easy. Auckland City always guarantee that. Now, if I had to say who's going to win this game, I think no matter what, no matter who plays, I have Al-Ittihad winning this game, even if they bench a couple of their foreigners and rest them. I just think that even the Saudi talent that they have is of a higher tier in comparison to this Auckland City side. Now, I know you can say that pretty much in every scenario, but I do think this Al-Ittihad side is a little bit different than previous host teams that we've had in the past. This Al-Ittihad side is not bad, and I think they will beat Auckland City no matter what Auckland throw at them.
Yeah, I agree. I think I have Al-Ittihad going through here. Thank you, Auckland City, for making your yearly appearance. We will see you again next time around, but I agree. Al-Ittihad goes through to face off against Al-Ahly. Al-Ahly, who are the CAF Champions League winners, currently sitting in second place in the Egyptian Premier League and in first place in their CAF Champions League group. Obviously, only think two match days have happened so far, so it's early. But they've got names, man. Percy Tau. They got Anthony Modesto, the ex-Dortmund player here at Al-Ahly. Hussein El Shahat, Aliou Dang, who we highlighted just a year ago as a great midfielder. Mohamed Absel Monem, Karim Fouad, Marian Atia. They beat Auckland City and Seattle Sounders last year, which I thought was a really notable result, beating an MLS side to then go on to face off against Real Madrid, who they then lost to 4-1. This Al-Ahly team is good, bro. They're good, and they continue to just find ways to get back into this tournament, being the best team in Africa once again. Can they defeat an Al-Ittihad side? I think it's going to be a fun matchup.
Yeah, and I think the answer is yes, they actually can. For Al-Ittihad, their success against Al-Ahly is going to be completely dictated on which foreigners play in this match. If Igor Coronado, Romarinho are healthy and playing, if somehow Benzema's back, that's how they win this game. If it's just Jota and Fabinho and that's it, then Al-Ahly's winning this game. I really don't care what you throw at them. Al-Ittihad's going to have their best players against Al-Ahly to win. If they don't, Al-Ahly will win this game.
100%. I agree. I think I'm going to go Al-Ittihad here. I think the home factor plays a bit of a role here too. Saudi Arabia hosting this tournament with Al-Ittihad representing them. I think they're going to show themselves out. I think that will help them a lot in this game. That will be at home. And then I do think health-wise, from what I'm seeing, it does seem like more than 2 foreigners will be available.
Hopefully.
And so I think as long as they get 3 or 4 in there, I think it'll be enough because their quality is just so goddamn high when they're all on it, specifically the foreigners. I think it will dismantle this Al-Ahly side. So I'm actually going to go Al-Ittihad makes it through to the semifinal.
Yeah, I'm just going to go based off of that condition. If they get the right guys on the pitch, I think they win. If they just can't, and even if they play the best that they possibly can, Al-Ahly is going to beat them.
And on the other side of the bracket, during this stage, we will have Leon facing off against AFC champion Urawa Red Diamonds. This matchup's crazy, bro. Because when you really think about it, this could have been LAFC versus Al-Hilal.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Imagine that. LAFC, who continued their level of success, going deep in the Champions League last year, now in the MLS Cup final, playing very, very good football. Leon, on the other hand, just pretty much disappointing since then.
They're average
and
right now.
Same goes for Urawa Red Diamonds. It's the same narrative where they just completely dropped in form and in quality since their incredible victory over Al-Hilal last year. And Al-Hilal did the opposite. Got some names in the transfer window, boosted their squad completely, and now are playing the best football, in my opinion, in all of Asia. So we could have had LAFC versus Al-Hilal. Instead, we have Leon versus Urawa Red Diamonds. Regardless, we got to deal with what's being thrown at us. So let's analyze this. Leon winning the CONCACAF Champions League through just what was ultimately an insane run, bro. An insane run where they just completed, where they just consistently...
We found form.
Yeah, found form and proved many people wrong in the process. Finishing off their Liga MX season in 8th place, knocked out by America in La Liguilla just recently. The names here. Should I go through the names, brother? You tell me. You're the Leon fan here. Do you want me to go through the names?
It's just going to be completely dependent on if they even show up, these names, bro. Because, we have Viñas. unclinical in front of goal. But maybe he turns it on against the Japanese side. We don't know. Borja Sanchez makes decent appearances. I'd say every other game. Maybe this is that game. And then for the rest of Leon, I mean, we're solid. We have talent. We're gritty. We played against the best team in Mexico in America literally just this past week and put up a decent fight. Now, obviously, we got absolutely mollywopped at the end of the day.
Molly, baby.
But, you know, it's the best team in Mexico. Now, on the other side for Urawa, they have some players that can link up. Yoshio's been decent on link-up play. Jose Cante, the Ghanaian, is very good in front of goal, but his link-up play is pretty poor. You have Linson, the Swede, who's decent at link-up play, not good in front of goal. So, honestly, these two teams are very similar as far as form. There's a lot of inconsistency with both, though I will give the edge here to Leon.
Yeah.
I do think individually, I mean, even take into account El Diente Lopez, right? Individually, I think Leon have a higher chance of putting in a goal than Urawa do. And I see our defenses as very similar. So if I take all of that into account, I think Leon actually have a decent edge here.
I just think Urawa has disappointed more since winning the title than Leon has.
Yeah, that's
ultimately.
true.
I mean, Urawa's in 4th place in the J League right now, which might not sound that crazy, but when you won the Champions League, I mean, that's the Champions League, bro, in Asia. You're the best team. You defeated Al-Ahly in a fascinating manner. I would expect them to follow that up the following season, but in the Champions League specifically, they were bad, bro. They were a bad team in the AFC Champions League, ultimately not being able to qualify out of the group and eliminated going into the 6th round. Urawa was not able to defend their title well, and although they have some notable names, like you said, Jose Cante, Hiroki Sakai, Alexander Scholz, they have these players.
Brighton.
I don't think it's enough to top what I think Leon is capable of when they're the better team. And I do think Leon wins this matchup, which is crazy because you realize what that means.
Yeah, bro. Punishment. You don't want to win this game, man.
You really don't, dude. That means that Leon goes on to face off against Manchester City in the semifinal. We're going to see Mexicans get abused all over the fucking pitch, man. It's gonna be brutal, man.
Maybe we can dig deep. Maybe we can dig really
God
deep.
Damn it, man. I wish it was LAFC, man.
Me too.
I really do. That would have been fun.
Or honestly, like, what if America?
Yep.
What if America had won the Champions League last year, taken their form, and look how well they're playing now? Like, honestly, I would give America a gambler's chance against Manchester City, but I'm not giving Leon any chance against City. City's going to win this game no matter what. I'm really curious to see what Leon do, though, because one thing I like about Leon is we always have a plan. I'm not saying we execute it perfectly, but Larcamón always has an idea on how to play, and usually his ideas are right. I'm really curious, like, are we just going to bunker in? Or are we going to try to combine at all? I'm really curious to see. But no matter what, the result's going to be the same.
Yes, and I must give them a proper preview, as I've done with every single team so far. Manchester City. UEFA Champions League winners. First title in their history. Currently in 4th place in the Premier League.
Prime's tight.
Currently in 4th place, but the best goddamn team on earth. The only thing, I sat in my room for hours just thinking, what is the flaw here? What is the thing that I could highlight that could work against it? What is it, bro? And it may not even be, it might not be something that's in Leon's control, honestly. It might be something that is just down to the footballing gods, and just that's injuries. Will injuries and weird form hinder them? It's the only question.
Okay.
They're on a 4-game streak of losing points, dropping points in the Prem. That's rare for Manchester City. Yeah, even during their low points in the first half of the season that they tend to go through, this is still pretty rare for 4 straight results, such as the one we saw with like Aston Villa just completely dominating them in a way that was crazy, mainly due because of the injuries that they were experiencing with Jeremy Doku out, with Kevin De Bruyne, Grealish, Rodri with red card suspension. They didn't have their best players, and it showed because Manchester City got outplayed. Now, I'm not saying Leon's going to play up to an Aston Villa level, but I'm just saying if there's anything to hope for, it's that form continues and that the injury gods play in Leon's favor. That's it. Otherwise, Manchester City is going on to the final.
Yeah, they're going to the final.
No deep analysis there.
There's just
straightforward
there, man. Truly, I just don't see how Leon do it. If we can't beat America, then I just don't really see how we beat Manchester City.
On the other side, you have Fluminense, awaiting either Al-Ahly, Al-Ittihad, or Auckland City. Copa Libertadores champions Fluminense, who defeated Boca Libertadores in extra time. Fernando Diniz guiding these guys. John Arias, Andre, Marcelo, Ganso, Keno, John Kennedy, Herman Cano. Finished the Brazilian league in 7th place, but to them it didn't matter. They got the biggest trophy in South America, winning the Copa Libertadores. And just to kind of remind you guys of what happened with the Brazilian or South American representative last year, Flamengo lost in the semifinals to the Saudi Arabian side in Al-Hilal, who then went on to go to the final to face off against Manchester City. That's what Fluminense has here. They have history in terms of a nation, Brazilian side coming to this tournament time and time again, but they have the momentum of having won a major trophy and actually having some really good, experienced players on this squad. And when I say experience, I'm talking about players in their fucking 40s, bro. I think their goalkeeper's like 44 years old, bro.
Yeah, Felipe Melo too, Marcelo.
Guys nearing the 40-year mark. So true grandpa veteran experience here. Will they be able to make it to the final, given that they are probably set to face off against either a really feisty Al-Ahly side, or by that point, if they make it there, an Al-Ittihad side that will probably be healthy and then in really good form playing at home?
I think no matter who they play, Auckland, Al-Ittihad, or Al-Ahly, I think Fluminense wins. I really do think so. When they find their form, they are nearly unstoppable on the offensive end. And that's the thing, is I don't know if I see Al-Ahly or Al-Ittihad outscoring Fluminense. That's my biggest thing. They might concede a couple, but Fluminense will outscore you. And if they show up knowing that they get to play Manchester City in that final, to have an opportunity to play against a side like that, I think they're going to win no matter who they play in that semi.
Yeah, man, I tried to convince myself of Al-Ittihad going on like a pretty magical run here. But the thing is, to get to the final, they got to win 3 games, dude. 3. And there's too many questions. Like we said, the injuries, the chemistry, they have the names, they have the guidance behind Marcelo Gallardo, but it's not proven the way that Fluminense is, man. And the fact that Fluminense, their first, you think they're just going to arrive at Saudi Arabia and lose their first match? That just doesn't feel like Fluminense to me, because time and time again, especially in South America and La Copa Libertadores, you have to prove that you can face adversity and defeat it and overcome it. And they did it, bro, over and over again against these really strong South American sides, doing it and finishing it off against Boca Juniors in that final in extra time, which I just think says so much about their character, about the way that they can just, step up in those big moments with pressure on them. I think it's huge, and I just don't think a team like Al-Ahly can do that. I don't think a team like Al-Ittihad will be able to top them ultimately. Will it be a good match? I do think so.
Yeah.
I do think these teams either one of these teams can pose a really, really good threat. But I do see a Brazilian team not getting upset this year, with Fluminense going through and facing off against Manchester City, which that should make for a great matchup, man.
And this is where I'm going to give that gambler's chance here, because if City are a little out of form, if they do have a little bit of injury, then I think Fluminense is the only team in this tournament that could maybe take advantage. Now, obviously, if I have to pick a winner, I'm still going to choose Manchester City. I think the way that they manage a game, Fluminense too, just can go a little quiet during 90 minutes. And if you do that against Manchester City, you might get heavily punished. So I'm still going to pick City as the ultimate winners here. But I'm actually going to give Fluminense a decent chance here. I think they can go at Manchester City. But it's just such a tough task if you're not used to that type of pressure.
I think, man, I mean this with all respect, I really do, but the way I see this matchup, I think City's spanking Fluminense. Yeah. We're going to see a Brazilian spanking here. And it's no disrespect to Fluminense, but it's because of the styles for me, man. I just think that Fluminense was able to get these victories time and time again because the teams that they faced off against, like you mentioned, weren't able to really capitalize on them when they had that window of opportunity. In Manchester City, I mean, they create the window of opportunity. They don't wait for you to give it to them. So the fact that they have a team just coming at them with the quality that they have at hand, Pep Guardiola with his opportunity to win this team their first Club World Cup championship, I really don't see a universe where Fluminense is able to win where Fluminense is able to get the victory here. When you look in the past, when you look at the teams that have been able to upset the strong European side, like a Corinthians, or I believe, who was the other one? Sao Paulo, I think, did it as well in the early 2000s. When you look at those teams and you look at who they face, the teams they faced did have their flaws. They might have lost their form from the months after they had won the Champions League tournament. With Manchester City, though they have lost it a bit contextually within the grand scheme of who they are, I don't think it's enough to give that gambler's chance to Fluminense. So I'm going to go City wins this matchup. I'm actually going to say like 3-0, maybe 3-1, and they become FIFA Club World Cup champions, man, for the first time in their club's history.
Yeah. And just to be clear, I have City winning this every time, 10 times out of 10.
For sure.
Yeah. But you're right, though, because when you look at that Corinthians sides that did beat Chelsea, Corinthians was a very defensive side. That's how they won that game. Very defensive, 2 low blocks of 4, and then they had 1 or 2 guys on the outlet and took advantage of set pieces. Fluminense do not do that. That is not how they get their goals. They get their goals by you coming at them and then hoping they don't concede and then going at you on the counter. That's how they do it. Problem is, you can't do that against City. You just can't. So, yeah, I have Manchester City being the 2023 champions of the FIFA Club World Cup.
Still, though, man, this is what I love about this tournament. It's the last time that we'll see it in this sort of iteration, this format, because it's going to be switching in the future. I love this tournament because, you get a Brazilian side facing off against English side Manchester City in what is truly a competitive format. That's not something you see often, man. So many times it's a friendly or it's just an exhibition match. This is a genuinely meaningful game with silverware on the line. And whether it's a Brazilian team or Fluminense or Al-Ahly or Al-Ittihad that makes it to that final to face off against Manchester City, I just get so excited about the prospect of these matchups because it truly is like rare and finite and something to truly appreciate when it's happening.
Yeah, dude, because when you think about the friendlies, they're always backed by finances, right? Like they'll go to Korea, Japan, or China, or they'll go to the United States. No way in hell Leon would get the chance to play Manchester City, even a friendly.
Yeah.
So even the matchup itself, even take out the competitiveness, Leon Manchester City would never happen in any other reality, but FIFA gives it to us.
Yes.
And I'm so happy they do, man. I'm honestly going to really miss this 7-team format tournament. It's so short and sweet. I absolutely love it. But I think the bigger 32 team is going to be just as good. It's going to be even more insane. I'm going to miss this little tournament.
I'm going to miss this for sure.
It.
And I can't make comment on the future tournament because I need to see it happen first before I can generate an opinion. But for now, what did exist and what is going to happen one more time will be cherished by the Give and Go boys.